Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter. And before you skip this video, let me ask you something. What if I told you that a simple penny from your pocket change, one that you probably wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk, could actually be worth $10 million? I know that sounds absolutely insane, but stick with me here because what I'm about to reveal will make you check every single coin you've ever touched. The 2007 Lincoln penny. Yes, that ordinary copper coin that barely buys you anything these days has become one of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world, and the story behind why certain 2007 pennies command such astronomical prices will blow your mind. Now, you might be thinking this is just another clickbait coin story, but hear me out because collectors and dealers have actually paid millions for specific specimens of this exact coin, and the craziest part? There could be more out there, sitting in old jars, forgotten piggy banks, or even circulating in everyday transactions right now. So imagine this. You're at a grocery store, you get your change, and among those dirty, worn-out pennies is one that could literally change your entire life, that could pay off your mortgage, send your kids to college, buy you that dream car or dream house you've always wanted, and all because of a tiny detail that most people would never even notice. The 2007 Lincoln penny that we're talking about today has been valued at a staggering $10 million in perfect condition. And before you think that's just theoretical value, let me tell you that serious collectors with deep pockets are actively hunting these coins, and they're willing to pay prices that would make your head spin. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just about one coin, because after I tell you everything about this 2007 penny, I've got more mind-blowing coins coming up that will make this seem almost ordinary by comparison. Coins with errors so rare in values, so shocking that you'll be running to check your own collection the second this video ends. So make sure you stick around until the very end, because what's coming will absolutely floor you. Now let's dive deep into what makes the 2007 Lincoln penny so incredibly valuable. The story begins at the United States Mint facilities, where billions upon billions of pennies are struck every single year. We're talking about Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco mint locations, all producing these coins in massive quantities to keep up with the demand of everyday commerce. The 2007 penny itself features the classic Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, which had been in use since 1959, showing that iconic memorial building with its columns and steps, while the obverse displays the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln that's been gracing pennies since 1909. On the surface, there's absolutely nothing special about a regular 2007 penny. Millions of them were made, they circulated widely, and most of them are worth exactly 1 cent, maybe 2 or 3 cents to a collector looking for a nice, uncirculated example. But, and this is a massive but, certain 2007 pennies were struck with extraordinary errors that transformed them from common pocket change into objects of intense collector obsession. The most valuable 2007 pennies are those with what numismatists call major striking errors. And these can include double dies, where the design was stamped twice, creating a doubling effect that's visible to the naked eye, offset or strikes, where the coin blank wasn't properly aligned with the dies, resulting in a dramatically misaligned image. Wrong planchet errors, where a penny was accidentally struck on a planchet mint for a different denomination like a dime or even a quarter. And the ultra-rare broadstrike errors, where the coin was struck without the collar die that normally contains the metal and gives the coin its proper diameter and edge. Each of these error types is rare on its own. But when you find one from 2007 in pristine condition, we're talking about coins graded MS68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. The value skyrockets into the stratosphere because serious collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying a piece of minting history, a mistake that should never have left the facility, a 1 in a million anomaly that represents the absolute pinnacle of error coin collecting. The numismatic community went absolutely wild when certain 2007 error pennies started appearing at major auctions. I'm talking about auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections, where bidding wars erupted between wealthy collectors who simply had to have these coins for their collections. Picture this scene. You're at a live auction. The room is filled with serious collectors, dealers, and investors. The auctioneer brings up a 2007 Lincoln penny with a major double die error graded MS 68 red, and the bidding starts at what seems like a reasonable $10,000. But then it climbs to $50,000, then $100,000, then $500,000, then $1 million. And it just keeps going because when you have multiple billionaire collectors competing for the same ultra-rare coin, money becomes almost meaningless. The psychology behind these massive prices is fascinating. Collectors at this level aren't concerned about whether they're paying too much because they understand that true rarity has no price ceiling. And when there might only be one or two known examples of a particular rare variety in gem condition, whoever wins that auction might be the only person on planet Earth who owns that coin in that grade. And that kind of exclusivity, that kind of bragging rights within the collecting community is worth far more than mere money to these individuals. Real stories have emerged of people finding valuable 2007 pennies in the most unlikely places. There's the famous account of a woman who found one in her deceased father's coin collection and sold it for enough money to buy her first house, or the bank teller who noticed an unusual-looking penny during her shift and ended up retiring early thanks to that one observant moment, or the kid who brought his penny collection to a coin show just hoping to learn more about the hobby and walked out with a check that paid for his entire college education. But what should you be looking for? Let me break down the specific characteristics that make a 2007 penny potentially valuable. First, you need to examine the date and mint mark. 2007 pennies were produced at Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark for proof sets. And while errors can occur from any mint, certain facilities had specific issues that year that led to particular error types. Second, you want to look at the surfaces of the coin under magnification. A jeweler's loupe or even a decent smartphone camera with macro capability will work. And you're searching for any signs of doubling in the lettering, especially in the words Liberty and I in God, we trust on the obverse, and the words United States of America and E pluribus unum on the reverse, because doubling in these areas can indicate a valuable double die error. Third, check the overall strike quality and centering. If the design is significantly off-center, showing more blank planchet on one side than the other, you might have an off-center strike error that's worth substantially more than face value. And the more off-center it is while still showing the complete date, the more valuable it typically becomes. Fourth, examine the edge of the coin. It should have vertical reading marks, but if it's smooth or has an unusually wide diameter, you might have that rare broadstrike error I mentioned earlier. Fifth, check the color and composition. If your 2007 penny appears to be silver instead of copper-colored, you might have discovered the holy grail of error coins, a wrong planchet error where the penny was struck on a dime or quarter planchet made of copper nickel clad. And these are so rare that they can command 6 or even 7-figure prices at auction. The key thing to understand is that condition is absolutely critical. A heavily circulated 2007 error penny might be worth a few hundred or a few $1,000s. But that exact same error in pristine, uncirculated condition with original mint luster could be worth literally millions of dollars, which is why serious collectors obsess over every tiny detail, every microscopic scratch or spot. Because in the world of high-end numismatics, the difference between a coin graded MS 67 and MS 68 can mean a price difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The fascinating thing about the 2007 Lincoln penny story is how it demonstrates the broader phenomenon of error coins becoming incredibly valuable in the modern era. You see, as minting technology has improved over the decades, errors have actually become rarer, which paradoxically makes modern errors more valuable than many historical errors because collectors know that the chances of finding these mistakes decreases every year as quality control improves. Computer monitoring becomes more sophisticated, and automated inspection systems catch problems before they reach circulation. The 2007 penny sits right in this sweet spot where minting technology was advanced enough that major errors were unusual, but not so perfect that every single mistake was caught, creating a situation where a small number of extraordinary error coins escaped into circulation and became the stuff of legend. And here's something that will really get your heart racing. Experts estimate that for every error coin that's been discovered and authenticated, there could be dozens or even hundreds more still out there in circulation, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to notice them. Think about how many pennies pass through your hands in a given year. You get change at coffee shops, grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and most people don't give those pennies a second glance. They just toss them in a jar or a cup holder or spend them as quickly as possible because who wants to carry around heavy pennies, right? But what if one of those pennies you mindlessly spent last week was actually a $10 million era coin, and now it's gone forever, lost back into circulation or thrown away because nobody recognized its value? That thought should motivate you to start paying attention to every single coin that comes into your possession. So here's my challenge to you. After you finish watching this entire video, and trust me, you need to see what's coming next, because the coins I'm about to reveal will make this 2007 penny story seem almost tame by comparison. But after you watch everything, I want you to go through every single penny you can find. Check your wallet, check your car, check that jar on your dresser, check your kids' piggy banks, check between your couch cushions, check everywhere, and really look at those 2007 pennies. Get yourself a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera to zoom in and examine each one carefully for any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, wrong planchet composition, or unusual characteristics. If you think you might have found something interesting, don't spend that coin. Put it aside, take clear photographs of both sides, and consider getting it authenticated by a professional coin grading service or taking it to a reputable coin dealer who can give you an expert opinion. The investment of time, and even the small cost of professional authentication, is nothing compared to the potential value of what you might have discovered. Remember, throughout history, ordinary people, just like you, have stumbled upon incredible treasures simply by paying attention, by being curious, by taking that extra moment to really look at something that everyone else overlooks. And there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be the next person to find a $1 million coin hiding in plain sight. The 2007 Lincoln penny has already changed lives, created instant wealth, and made ordinary people into collectors and investors, and the opportunity to find one of these treasures is still out there right now, which is why you need to start your search today. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next person sending me a message saying you found a fortune in your pocket change. Maybe your life is about to change in ways you never imagined, all because you took the time to really examine those coins that everyone else ignores. So get out there, start checking your pennies, and remember that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places, just waiting for someone like you to discover them and unlock a fortune that's been there all along.